Hey, how's it going, peeps? This is a follow-up video to my last Mixcloud video, which I'll link at the end. If you haven't watched that already, go and watch it. Basically, the CEO of Mixcloud, Nico Perez, reached out to me and he wanted to address some of the points which I'd raised in that video. This isn't a sponsored video, but I was happy to do this because it's a subject which I'm interested in. I've already made a video on it, so it made sense. The Flying Lotus live stream, which I mentioned in the video, is going to be happening this weekend. I'm definitely going to be buying tickets for that, so keep your eyes open on that if you're a big fan of him, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Hi everybody, my name is Nico Perez. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Mixcloud, and I'm here today to answer some of your questions. So in terms of long-term, the way we kind of thinking about it is building a platform that's creator-centric and really building out tools for those creators to both express themselves and to potentially monetize what they're doing and generate an income, generate revenue. That could take a variety of shapes or forms. So right now there's things like, you can upload a pre-recorded radio show or DJ mix. You can go live and do something live for everybody. You can go live and then actually archive the recording from the live to your profile. You can turn on monetization with our monetization program called Select. And those are just a few of the examples of tools that you can use to essentially kind of express yourself as a DJ, as a creator, as an artist or radio presenter. We launched a product called Select, which is, like I mentioned, our monetization program about just over a year or so ago. And we're going to be expanding that and sort of incorporating it with the live streaming element so that you could potentially live stream just for your paying subscribers. Already, what we're seeing is a lot of people doing live streams and then actually archiving the show and making that only available to their paying subscribers. And then we're also looking at things like ticketed live streams. So we've started a few ticketed live shows. We just did one with Royce Murphy about a week and a half ago. And we've got one coming up with Flying Lotus and some of his friends from the Brain Feeder label. So that's on one end of the spectrum. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we're looking at things like donations and tips. That would be a kind of more, I guess, a kind of casual, sort of lightweight way of supporting artists and creators and DJs when they're streaming. So Mixcloud is a team of about 40 people. We're mostly based in London, in the UK. A few people kind of scattered around different parts of the UK. But, it's a relatively modestly sized team for what we've kind of built over the years. But audio and music streaming is our core focus. So, this is what we do day in, day out. We are, DJs, artists, producers across the company. And, this is our bread and butter. This is what we live for. So we're very, very focused on this area. Yeah, it's a really good question. So, sort of building on what I was just saying in terms of our focus, and our focus being music streaming, what that means, I guess, is kind of two main things. The first is we put a lot of work in to have the highest quality live streams. So when you stream on Mixcloud, it's at 320 kilobytes per second. Well, you can go up to 320 kilobytes per second if you choose that in whatever streaming software you use. So the audio quality was obviously super key. And you can really hear that, especially if you have nice speakers. And it's great to see that kind of like in the chat and the comments when people are listening. They're like, wow, this is so much better than Facebook, or like the sound is better than Twitch. It's always really nice when we see that in the comments. So that's the first side of things. And then the second really is all around the area of kind of copyright and licensing. So I think this is something that people are becoming increasingly aware of, but if you are playing other people's music in your live stream, pretty much all of the platforms except Mixcloud, they ask you to clear the rights for that. They put the onus on the person doing the live stream. And so I think that we're the only platform who basically say, you know what, that is a really, really, really difficult thing to do. I mean, I can say that for us, it took us 3 years to get all those deals done. So as a single individual, I think it's pretty much nearly impossible. What we've done is we've done these blanket deals so that DJs, artists, creators, they can go live and they can not worry about having to experience a takedown or a muting or even getting their profile banned from another platform. And that, I guess, ultimately kind of ties back to our focus and our core values. And our focus is, 100% on music and audio. And our core value is really that the artists who are getting played should get paid. And that's really like core to everything we do. And so there's actually generally in every single song, there's sort of two rights holders that are usually paid. So you have the songwriters side of things, which is usually covered by either a publisher or performance rights organization like, say, PRS here in the UK. And then you've got the sound recording side of things, which is usually covered by a record label, or sometimes if an artist self-releases, then it's them as an independent artist. Both of those sides of the equation need to be licensed properly and covered. And there's a few streaming platforms out there that only cover the first and not the second. So yeah, that's really what makes us special, what I think we focus on, and hopefully what we kind of can bring to the table. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's a bit of a shame. It's ultimately about supporting the music ecosystem and the artists that, you may be playing out, and, there is some promotional element there. But also a lot of these artists make their living now from streams, basically, especially this year when it's, a pandemic. Working artist or musician can't go out and do a live tour, can't get any money from gigs, like they're basically stuck at home. So there's a kind of, I guess, moral dimension to it that I would say first. And then there's a kind of more practical dimension to it second, which is like, chances are, if history tells us anything, it's that, a platform becomes somewhat popular and then the takedowns start ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. And so I think that there's a kind of question that everybody should ask themselves in terms of like, should I put all my eggs into one basket and kind of invest in a following and creating a profile and kind of growing engagement somewhere where there's kind of shaky foundations? Admittedly, we don't have the audience to scale of like an Instagram or Facebook or something, but the underlying core foundation there is really, really stable. And so, the pitch to DJs, radio presenters, artists, and creators is like, build on stable foundations, because that's going to go farther in the long run. Yeah, so we've been listening to everybody's feedback, and there's been a ton of it, some good, some bad. We know we've got stuff to improve on and stuff to build on. Kind of the things that people keep asking for. One was persistent stream key, so that you don't have to change your stream key every single time you go live. Another one was better analytics. So we've actually rolled out the ability to see not only how many people have tuned into your live stream in total, but how many are in the room at that point in time. We're in the process of rolling out better chat, so you can reply to people. And we're going to be adding custom emojis and crazy graphics and things like that coming soon. And then kind of maybe a bit more midterm, thinking about things like how do we do a DJ back-to-back if one DJ is in Bombay and the other one's in San Francisco? How do we help make that happen through the technology? And then also things like how do we get the audience and the fans more involved in the stream? I'm not sure if you ever come across like some of the Zoom parties where, you could see some of the people dancing, and that sort of idea of like increasing the level of interaction is, I think, the direction that we want to go in. The idea of a Twitch raid, or the idea of essentially one channel kind of supporting another channel and encouraging all their followers to kind of come along for the ride. I absolutely love that. I've seen it happen, and people just like, the smiles light up. It's just like pure like good vibes. And if you think about the context of DJ culture, the idea of doing a back-to-back with another DJ is super fun and something that people do all the time, right? We're trying to think, how do we do that in a digital environment? I'm not sure if we'll be at the point where we can do individual song back to back because of essentially latency. It takes a really long time to like communicate between two sides of the world, but at least doing like a mix or a session and then handing it off and going back to back with another DJ or creator, that is just again, it's another no-brainer that just makes a lot of sense. Yes, notifications are going to be added. I think they're already actually in Android, but not iOS. I can double check that. Letting all of your subscribers know that you're going live makes a ton of sense. And we're kind of going to actually go a step further and look at a way to, if you have sort of Facebook or Instagram followers, notify them when you're going live on Mixcloud, which would help really kind of grow your audience and generate more engagement. Yeah, so Stream Elements, actually, I'm going to be honest, like just came on my radar today. Thank you, Simon, for that. Appreciate it. But I think it looks really cool. I think that the idea of kind of incorporating more functionality into not only the chat, but the live experience makes a ton of sense for us. Restream actually built an integration for Mixcloud because they were getting so many requests for that to happen. So maybe we'll do an integration with Stream Elements. But the kind of core idea of adding things like custom emojis or overlays or interactions, and just kind of making the whole experience just richer. That's sort of really ultimately definitely things that we want to do.
That's everything from Nico. I hope you enjoyed that and it answered some of your questions. This is the video I mentioned at the start. Go watch that if you haven't already. Peas and carrots, y'all.